When your money system is working, nothing feels urgent. Taxes aren't urgent. Bills aren't urgent. Opportunities aren't stressful. Good doesn't feel exciting. Good feels boring and calm. Welcome back to the Practical Wealth Show. So, part three of our three episode arc. Now we're going to bring it home and we're going to talk about the Be the Bank blueprint. And we're going to walk you through the money for life process, the money for life blueprint. I'm going to show you, or hopefully help you describe, the title of this episode is What Good Looks Like. Okay. So today is the build. So before I tell you how to build this, I want you to know what good actually looks like, because most people have never seen it. Okay. So nothing feels urgent. Okay. So let's talk about, business owner, high income earner, investor. Think about this. When this is working, nothing feels urgent. Bills don't feel urgent. So you actually, if you're not driving, close your eyes and think about this, okay? Bills don't feel urgent. Taxes don't feel urgent. Opportunities don't feel stressful. There's money sitting in a private reserve that you control, that you can access with a fax or a phone call. So when something happens, payroll, a tax bill, a repair, a family need, you don't panic and you don't scramble. You just move money from where it is stored to where it is needed. Let that sink in. And here's the key difference. You're not asking for permission. You're not breaking your long-term plan. You're not hoping the bank says yes. Good doesn't feel exciting. Good feels boring and calm. And that calm is what allows you to actually make good decisions. So, it should be, your plan should be boring. Okay. It's not supposed to be exciting. It's a system, right? That works every time, right? And when money stops feeling urgent, life gets easier. Now, what does bad look like? Bad looks like this. Every decision has pressure. You're constantly timing bills. You're moving money in between accounts. You're hoping nothing unexpected happens, which is called life, by the way. And that's not because you're irresponsible. That's because your system, such that it is fragile. Is that what you want? Do you want it to so let me ask you this. Does that sound familiar? Let's stay there for a second, okay? And see, so if you want to change, Jim Rohn used to say, Mr. Show told him, Jim, if things are going to change for you, you have to change. Okay, so that's our challenge for you today. So I want to stay on that for a second, right? So I want to stay on what good looks like for you. Okay. So if you're a business owner, good looks like payroll and taxes already being covered before the month starts, not guessed, covered. If you're an investor, for an investor, good looks like a deal showing up and you already knowing where the money comes from without scrambling. Let me let that sink in for a second. Okay. Let's say you're a high income W-2 earner. For a professional, good looks like a big expense not changing your lifestyle or your sleep. Okay. So good doesn't mean you never borrow. Good means you're borrowing on your terms, not out of necessity. I always say you want to be able to borrow, because you want to have money. See, borrow money, banks loan money to people that don't need it, right? So you want to position yourself so that you're borrowing out of opportunity. You have money, but you don't want to use your money. You want to use the institution's money, and you want to keep your money at work for you uninterrupted. So now that you know what good looks like, let's talk about how to build it step by step without hype. Okay. So now, if you go to our website, practicalwealth.net, we it's right in there, right? So we call it our 4-step, the money for life blueprint. So step one, you've got to stabilize your cash flow. So when I look at a person's personal economy and I see, I mean, it jumps right for 5 minutes, right? If I see, well, if I see no money, I already know you got a problem. But let's say I see a lot of money in a 401k. I don't see 3, 5, 10 grand in savings, like safe, liquid, accessible money. I see a lot of debt, and you might have good credit. You might have less than ideal credit. But the bad credit and the high non-preferred debt, those are symptoms. All right. So people come to me, oh, I need a consolidation loan. That's a symptom. You're just putting a band-aid on it. You haven't solved the problem. And here's the challenge. This is the goal of the show, right? So I learned this from Dan Sullivan. People have a low ceiling of complexity, right? So finances seems complex because our ceiling is low, our knowledge is low. And so hopefully through this show, my goal, and when we work with our clients and our members, is that we want to raise your ceiling of complexity, right? So as your knowledge goes up, your anxiety goes down, right? If you learn to become a good investor, a good business owner, as your knowledge goes up, your risk comes down. All right. So risk doesn't mean opportunity for gain. Risk means probability of loss. So our main brand promise is that we believe that there is more opportunity to be had by minimizing your losses than there's trying to pick winning investments. So our goal is to help our clients improve current cash flow, minimize current and future taxation, and improve your cash flow and money supply. Like, is that the type of conversation that you want to have? So step one, you've got to learn to tell your money where to go instead of asking where it went. So we call that cash flow control. Step two is, all right, so now once we found the money, and let's say, so our goal is to find, so we want you saving 15, 20% of your gross incomes, saving, safe, liquid, accessible, guaranteed. So I don't mean putting 10, 15% in your 401k if you don't have any liquidity. So now, once I ask people, if I find it, will you save it? Right. And then now we're going to save it in part of it, most of it. So here's your homework. Let me just put this in here. Your homework is to go to Amazon, and I want you, or go to, I don't think I have it on our site yet. You go to Amazon and order Becoming Your Own Banker, the audio book, or the preferably the book. It's only 85 pages. So if you order it and you email me, kurtmay@gmail.com, I will send you, I'll try to put it in the show notes. I'm going to send you a cheat sheet on how to read it, because the book was the distillation of Nelson's 2-day, 10-hour workshop, okay, seminar on this little 85-page book. So there's a lot. There's Austrian economics. There's a lot. So more that we can cover in this. So you got to do it's your money. But some people don't want to do the work, so I'm saying, if you don't want to think, I'm telling you right now, don't call me, because we're going to work together. It's your money, not Curtis's, right? And if you don't feel you can read an 85-page book to improve your financial future, what can I do for you? Please don't call me. All right. And I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise. There's a saying, you can't push a rope All right. But step 2 is to build your private reserve. Build your privatized banking system using properly structured dividend paying whole life. So that's a whole thing. I'm just telling you what the steps are. I just want to show you what time it is. We're going to try to build a watch today or build a clock today. Right. Then, but let me give you the framework for that strategy. Right. So our framework is principles based planning. Right. Principles drive strategy. Principles, how you think, your belief system. Strategy is what you do, and tactics, i.e., products, are what you buy to fulfill the strategy. So if we say, look, we want you saving, you make 100 grand, 15% of that's $15,000 a year, just making numbers up. So how much of that can you, if we can find that, then a lot of that should run through your private reserve strategy. That's the strategy. Be in the bank. What does that mean? Earn money, bank it. That means save it somewhere, let you be the bank, borrow against your bank, not from, against, spend it, repay it. Earn it, bank it, borrow it, spend it, repay it. Spend it on what? Opportunities to make new money or major capital purchases, which we define as anything you can't pay for in full within your monthly cash flow. All right. Then you want to protect the kingdom. You have to build a moat around your castle. See, too many of people, what Wall Street sells, the plans only work if everything works. But most times everything don't work. Markets go down, interest rates go up. So you have to build a plan that works no matter what, under any circumstances. And you need to, one of the things that we do with our financial GPS system and our personal financial snapshot, we want to stress test it. What if one of you die prematurely? What if you have a layoff? What happens if somebody gets disabled or sick? Do you have a plan that works no matter what, not based on some Monte Carlo simulation? This is a financial planning thing, if you don't know what that is. But basically, hey, here's this thing. If the market does 8%, you're going to have, $8 trillion, right? But what if it doesn't? What if you don't make it? Your family's supposed to be there. Do you have a trust? So we're going to look at all that stuff, right? That's what good looks like. All right. And so you want to have legacy. So if you follow the earn it, bank it, borrow it, spend it, repay it, here's the result. See, because that's what you want. I'm not here to talk about a product. I'm talking about the results. So is this ask yourself, when I told you what does good look like, well, here's the destination that we're trying to take you to. So destination is what I call the 4 pillars of a strong personal economy. Pillar number 1, freedom from debt to others. So now, I don't mean get out of debt, like let's throw all our money in, pay our house off. No. If you owned your own bank, let me define banking for your compliance people out there. Banking just means creating a pool of capital that you control that can move at costs to meet some needs you have. So it's a saving strategy, right? Don't get it twisted. It's not investment strategy. It's not saving. And so now you've got savings. Something comes up. You've got access to capital. Access to capital takes pressure off, right? So one of the first things that we have a program called debt to capital. And then one of the things that if we look at your situation, that's it. Then we're going to talk about how to solve that immediate need, which is you got a cash flow issue, and then we need to help you eliminate your non-preferred debt. So we may stop there, right? And build liquidity at the same time. So it's really stabilize cash flow, get out of debt, build your private reserve, right? And we're going to use your private reserve to get you out of debt. So you're out of debt and you have money. Okay. So freedom from debt to others. Pillar number 1. Pillar number 2, ready cash when you need it. You need liquidity. You need 3 months, 6 months, a year of liquidity. Okay. I want 3-4 months before you even talk to me about investing. Okay. Because y'all don't have any money. Third pillar. This is your job, not mine. But if you listen to the show, I'm showing you ways to do this, right, through the guests on our show. Pillar number 3 So your goal is not retirement. I believe your goal is financial freedom. Financial freedom is a capacity. Capacity to do what, Curtis, right? Capacity meaning that, I use the Jim Rohn definition, being able to live like you want to live from the income from your personally invested resources without a job. So it's a function of cash flow, and nobody teaches us to buy assets that generate cash flow. We're all investing. We've been trained, and typical financial advice is built around accumulation and capital gains. It doesn't focus on velocity and cash flow. But if you want to become financially free, that's what you got to learn. That's what you've got to become. All right. And so that's what good looks like. Okay. And so here are the rules of the prior reserve: borrow with a purpose, repay with discipline, track loans yourself. See, Nelson says everybody needs to have two businesses: the one that gives them a paycheck and the banking business. Okay. I was talking to a colleague of mine, and they do private lending. I got a couple clients that do private lending. I says, okay, well, what happens? What if they default? Okay. So they don't come to you for money. They go to the attorney draws up the papers. Here are the terms of it. And here's what happens if you don't pay me back. Now the money is just coming from the policy, but you've got to be a banker. So, if you can get the money at 4 or 5% and you can loan it out at 8, 10%, dude, that's 100% return with cash flow. That's what you're trying to do. Okay. Be the bank. Learn to think like the banker. So what's our homework? Pick up, become your own banker. All right. Read and study. Like, you don't even understand it unless you've read it 3 times. So make sure you look in the show notes, and either if for some reason not in there, email me. And if they're in there, I'll put it so you can download the cheat sheet. All right. So if what I described sounds like what you want, calm, control, and options, then the next step isn't buying anything. The next step is clarity. I put together a simple starting framework that shows you how to stop leaking money through interest, timing, tax timing, and missed opportunity, and how to begin building a private reserve you actually control. It's free, it's practical, and it will help you see where you're stuck, what to fix. Go to practicalwealth.net. If it makes sense to you, you can take the next step, fill out our assessment, or make schedule a 15, 20-minute clarity call. If it makes sense to you, we can talk. If not, still walk away clearer than you are right now. Okay. Either way, clarity beats guessing. Remember, guys, you don't need a new mindset. You need a new system, a system that works when life happens. And let me tell you, life is going to happen. This is how your finances should work in real life. Here's the 4th pillar. Is a legacy of wealth and the wisdom to go along with that wealth. So a fool and their money is soon parted. So if you're doing this, you need to be teaching this, right? And one of the things a colleague of mine, another good book I'll just throw in here, is What Would the Rockefellers Do by Gary Gunderson. So in that, that whole book is about another one. I can't think of what it's called right now, but it's about developing your legacy of wealth and wisdom. So it's not just the wealth, is the wisdom to go along with that. Do you have a system of family governance, right? So our partners that we do within that, if you check out, I'll put the link to our partner Legacy Lock of legacy planning. Is the 4th lever of our process is what it looks like. That is what good looks like. So if it looks good to you, go to practicalwealth.net, schedule a call, or take our financial freedom assessment, and let's see where you are. And then if it says you want to have a conversation, let's do that. Guys, go out there and make it a great day. See ya.